The maintenance bay of the Eternal Dominion hummed with alien machinery as 94-year-old Raza carefully set down his plasma wrench for the last time. His weathered hands, scarred by decades of honest work, trembled slightly. Not from age, but from suppressed emotion. After 43 years of service aboard Emperor Zephyros's flagship, he was done. "You cannot be serious, old human," chittered Vextar, the insectoid maintenance supervisor, his compound eyes reflecting the ship's blue emergency lighting. "Who will calibrate the quantum resonators? The fusion manifolds require your peculiar touch." Raza straightened his aching back, dignity radiating from his small frame despite his worn coveralls. "I've trained Keela and Norn well enough. They'll manage." His voice carried the weight of years, steady despite everything. The truth was, Raza could no longer bear watching his crewmates, beings he'd come to consider family, being treated as expendable. Just yesterday, Emperor Zephyros had executed 3 Altarian engineers for a minor calculation error. The Emperor's cruelty had grown worse with each passing year, and Raza's human conscience could take no more. "The exit is that way," sneered Fiza, the Emperor's newly appointed shift manager. The young Zenthari female had climbed ranks through cunning and ruthlessness, her purple skin marking her as nobility among her kind. "Don't expect references, fossil." Raza nodded quietly and walked toward the exit, his steps echoing in the vast chamber. Behind him, alien voices whispered in a dozen languages, speculating about the strange human who'd served longer than most species lived. As the maintenance bay doors sealed behind him, Raza made his way through corridors he could navigate blindfolded. The ship's geometry was as familiar as breathing. After all, he'd helped design half of it during the retrofits of 78 and 91. Few knew that the old human janitor possessed engineering credentials from 3 different systems. In his modest quarters, Raza began packing his few belongings: a holograph of Earth's sunset, a gift from a grateful Regelian pilot whose life he'd saved, tools he'd crafted himself, perfectly balanced for his aging hands, and buried beneath threadbare clothes, a small device he'd hoped never to use. The communicator activated with his biometric signature, its surface displaying symbols that would terrify Emperor Zephyros if he recognized them. After a moment's hesitation, Raza pressed the activation sequence. "This is Admiral Raza Qureshi, Terran Space Command, service number Alpha 779. He spoke quietly into the device. "Requesting immediate extraction, authorization, code Sunset Protocol." The reply came instantly. "Confirmed, Admiral, ETA 6 hours, welcome back to active duty." Meanwhile, in the ship's command center, Fiza was reviewing personnel files when an aide rushed in, his scales pale with terror. "Manager Fiza, the Emperor demands to know why productivity and maintenance dropped 17% today." Fiza's blood chilled. She pulled up the day's reports, quickly identifying the problem. Without Raza's subtle guidance, 3 critical systems had experienced minor failures. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to catch the Emperor's attention. "Find that human," she ordered. "Bring him back immediately." But when security reached Raza's quarters, they found them empty except for a single datapad on the bed. Fiza snatched it, her hands shaking as she read, "To whom it may concern. I hereby tender my resignation from all positions aboard this vessel. Should you require my services in the future, please direct all inquiries through proper diplomatic channels. Our Qureshi Admiral Terran Space Command retired." The pad clattered to the floor as Fiza's legs gave out. Admiral Raza Qureshi, the legendary human who had united 5 systems against the Vorthan Empire. The strategist who'd ended the Sigma Wars with nothing but words and willpower. The man Emperor Zephyros had spent decades trying to capture or kill. He'd been fixing their toilets for 43 years. "Alert the Emperor," Fiza gasped. "Lock down the ship. No one leaves." But it was too late. Through the viewport, a sleek vessel approached, its hull bearing the distinctive markings of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. As it docked, automated systems throughout the Eternal Dominion began broadcasting the same message in every known language. "This ship is now under the protection of the Terran-Altarian Peace Accord, Section 47. Safe passage for diplomatic personnel. Any hostile action will be considered an act of war. Emperor Zephyros burst onto the command deck, his massive form radiating fury. What is the meaning of this? Fiza could barely speak. Your Majesty, the maintenance worker, he was... Through the docking bay cameras, they watched as Raza walked calmly toward the Terran ship. But he wasn't alone. Behind him came a stream of alien crew members, Rigelians, Altarians, Zenthari, even some of the Emperor's own guards. Beings who had witnessed Raza's quiet kindness over the years, who had seen him share his rations during shortages, who had watched him risk punishment to help them countless times. As the Admiral reached his ship, he turned back once. For a moment, his eyes seemed to look directly through the cameras at Emperor Zephyros himself. Then he smiled. Not with triumph, but with the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. The Terran vessel departed as smoothly as it had arrived, taking with it nearly 30% of the Eternal Dominion's skilled workforce and the most dangerous human in the galaxy. In the empty maintenance bay, Vextar found a note left beside. The plasma wrench. The quantum resonators prefer a 2.3 frequency adjustment on Tuesdays. Tell Keela the fusion manifolds sing when they're happy. And Fiza, next time someone offers you 43 years of loyalty, maybe don't call them a fossil. Raza. Emperor Zephyros would spend the rest of his reign wondering what other legends might be hiding in plain sight among his servants, but Raza Qureshi, Admiral, engineer, and reminder that true power often wears the humblest disguise, was already home, watching Earth's sunset through his viewport and planning his next quiet revolution. After all, humans had always been excellent at playing the long game.